I don't feel funny. Oh, all right.
You don't have to feel funny. I want you to feel
Uh,
informative.
Informative, voice of reason. Hold on, is this recording?
Yeah, and actually, there's an AI in the background that will notate everything you're doing.
Oh, isn't that Rick just had to take a private call.
A call to his privates. Hey,
Yeah.
listen to me. Listen to me. All right, you ready?
Just tell me what. Yeah, tell me what we're
No,
doing.
I'm not. I'm just
Okay,
not. I'm
I
just
should
gonna
have
see
washed
how
my
we do.
glasses. No,
And
I'm
I'm
good.
gonna do this in the midst of people.
Is this this is for the training? I mean the site for the audition site, right?
Well, technically, it's the same thing as acting up or whatever other thing I was doing. All I'm doing with this is I've created a page on the a menu bar for a blog, and it's going to be the show talking about the different stuff that we talk about. It's really nothing more than that. I mean, I'm just going to try to have a lot of casting directors and, people involved in the industry, everybody with pretty much the same basic starter question, like what's going on. Um, and
We're gonna be. I
and
mean, that's one thing I want to make sure I know about. Are you gonna be talking about AI and future stuff like that? Because that's
I will bring you into it, and I promise you, I'm not going to go like, hey, when Python released that new. No, no, don't worry about it. It's all I want is you, and do what we normally do. And maybe if there's some at some point you can find time as a regular schedule, we can do what we're doing here and interview other people.
I mean, AI, scares the shit out of me. And when I do these workshops, I try to be
Whoa,
optimistic and
wait,
keep.
don't you're giving away too much of the
Oh,
product right
I
now,
don't know.
buddy.
I'm letting you know my own personal fears about things I want to. Okay.
That's what I want to hear. Yeah.
No, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no.
All
I need
right.
final approval on the edit of this, Mr. AI. Not talking to Will. I'm talking to,
The wall.
yeah.
All right,
Can
ready?
whoever is drinking their vanilla nut goo goo
We
can
got
just
it. We
pipe it
got
down?
we got this shit, man. Ready to go? It
Yeah,
says
sure.
we're recording, so make sure it's still recording. All right, ready? All right, and three, two. All right, everybody. Hey, Will Roberts here, of course. Camera, lights, and AI. I know, play on words, but it's a play on words because obviously by if you've bumped into my new site that we're going to be putting out really soon. I created something that I believe is really good for actors and creatives to be able to, utilize AI without being intimidated by it, and also utilizing some of the tools to be able to kind of give you the one up in the industry. If you're an actor, it's going to have all these great tools in there that are just simple as ABC 1 2 3. I made sure for people like my guest, who's a very, very dear friend of mine, who sometimes will call me up and go, how do I turn on the computer? I'm messing with you, Rick Zieff. But the bottom line is that he is waiting in the wings, which I haven't figured out Zoom yet. I'm so used to using an eCam and all this like sophisticated stuff. I am outside. I decided to take this outside, and it's probably only about 98 degrees out here. So if I look a little slitzing, you know why. Um, so anyway, lights, camera, AI, very excited about doing this again. And I say again because originally I started off doing acting up radio with Rick, the voice of reason. So let me tell you a little bit about our guest today, which, by the way, I'm always aggressively trying to convince Rick to just move in with me and do every single thing he does in life with me. Well, maybe not everything.
We can edit that out, probably the moving in thing, the
I'm just gonna
cohabitating.
put visuals. I'm gonna put
Ah,
visuals. Yeah. 3D. And by the way, I don't even need you. I've got your face now, so I'm just gonna AI everything.
great. Profiles, and see.
And that's it. And you just gave me at least 5 seconds of your voice, so you're out of work. Anyway, so the exciting thing happening here, of course, Rick Zieff, I used to call him, I still do when I call him on the phone, going Rick Zieff, the voice of reason. And that's because Rick has an extensive, now I'm going backwards. Because if I start off at the beginning, I would tell you that he's probably got like 400,000 credits, guest star, you know, movie, TV, and so on. So I guess I am going in the beginning. And then now he's really primarily, although he's definitely on camera, guys. So take a picture, get ready, have him audition for you. But he's really kind of, I call him the voice of reason because Rick is probably one of the top and I'll say this for you, one of the top voiceover coaches. He's also a top voiceover talent. Of course, Spike the dog on Tom and Jerry. I almost said Jerry Lewis. Anyway, just a multiple things, and found out recently as he was going to a conference on pinball machines, which I am a pinball wizard. I'm not gonna lie to you. I won competitions when I was a kid. To find out that Rick is like the voice of many, many games and pinball machines just makes me love him more and want to be like him when I grow up. But with that being said, let's just launch into the show. Welcome, Rick Zieff. I'm so glad to be with you, as always. Uh-oh, I don't hear you. That's really weird. I heard you for,
Technology.
there you
Hello,
go.
hello.
You know what
Okay,
happened? Did you
I
press
don't know.
something?
There's a glitch in the matrix.
Uh-oh. I'm
I don't
actually
know.
Keanu Reeves, so that works.
Wow.
So
Um,
let me try that again. Welcome to the show, Rick Zieff, my good friend.
Thank you, Will. Great to be here. Thanks for that warm introduction and all that wonderful
Jazz.
talking me up stuff. Yeah, blowing smoke up my proverbial skirt. It worked. I'm very happy to be here. Um, you've got your coffee. I've got mine. Yes, thanks for calling me the voice of reason. I have sort of morphed from largely on-camera actor to predominantly a voice actor, voice casting director, voiceover producer, and voice director for animation, video games, and commercials. And that, if you made a pie chart, that's the biggest piece of my pie. But when on-camera things come my way, I'm happy to do them, whether I'm casting them or I'm in them. So
Yeah, I'm definitely, he knows this too, but I'm actively, every time I audition, I go, hey, thanks for seeing my audition. Have you met my friend Rick? And I hold up his headshot because I am going to get him back in front of the camera. Him and I, of course, I think Netflix, someone called the other day wanting us. So anyway, uh, boy, let's start off with like the first question to ask is it's kind of a stupid question, but it could go for 4 hours on this one. So how has the industry changed?
give it a minute, pull up a couch.
Yeah,
The industry has changed enormously, and there are sort of these milestones that make it veer this way and that way. COVID was a huge one. We can sort of start with
yeah,
the elephant in the room. Um, that necessitated many actors to have home setups. I'm sitting in front of my booth, which I had to build right when COVID hit. I had to buy a pro mic. My just sort of audition mic wasn't good enough quality for broadcast. So
right,
think of it this way. People who were doing auditions from home had audition quality stuff. And now, because the gigs themselves were going to be done in our homes largely, you had to
yeah,
have broadcast quality equipment when
right,
COVID hit. So that was a
right,
big, big game changer. Going back a little further back, it may surprise some of the people who are newer to the industry that we used to drive to our agents' offices for auditions. You go, you park, you take some quarters for the meter. Remember quarters, kids? Back in the day, there was a stuff called change. It was a currency, money you kept in your pocket or your purse,
yeah,
and you'd put it in various things like telephones. Look that up, and you could make a call for money.
yeah. And
Anyway,
you could also take that money and go to Tahoe and try to make your rent.
you probably it was change left over.
Yeah,
Um, so you uh, started auditioning from home, and then you started doing gigs from home. Those are the biggest game changers. And now, looking at the sort of landscape ahead, we have other encroaching things to deal with, like AI, like all
hmm,
kinds of other political slash creative considerations. Um, there were many things, Will, that haven't changed. One is the need for creative people to
right,
voice characters.
right,
I would say with new burgeoning uh, uh, types of media, there is actually more work than there ever has been before. I know that sounds
right.
antithetical with everyone's AI, and robots and this. I get it. But when we started, there was no internet and streaming and forced videos that you could skip on
Social
YouTube.
media,
Social media, there are so many things. There's so many point of purchase things, little pop-up things in stores and on street corners, and talking robots, games, toys, everything has voice. So I think there's actually more work and more people vying for that work than there ever has been before. That
right.
constitutes a significant change as well.
Well, let's go back to something you said, which is that actors and performers now and content creators and ambassadors, whatever you want to call them, they've had to do something that is really tremendously helpful to the performer, and that is they have to learn the tech. They have to learn how to, for instance, I remember making this joke all the time when I spent what 35 years in theater, just hundreds of shows. And I remember all the time I was that guy that I would go like, well, I'll be in my dressing room. Would you like to stage manage the next show? Are you high? Me? Why would I be a stage manager? Anyway, as I got older, and I also realized that you need this money to be able to get your headshots, to shoot your own demo reel, to do a voiceover demo reel. I learned quickly how to do all these things. And the reason it was is because I was dead broke, like many, many other performers. So I guess the question or the statement I want to make is that, yeah, it did change a lot after COVID, but in a good way, in my opinion, because now an actor doesn't only go, here's my self-tape, I'm Will Roberts, to be or not to be, and then you go, okay, thanks, hire me. You now have to go, oh, wait a minute, there's light in back of me. I probably should go this way and tech check 1, 2, can they hear? You know what I mean? So instead
Absolutely.
of you just going like, hey, my job as an actor is just to be there and be as wonderful and show you my De Niro imitation. It's
Right.
now a matter of owning, knowing how to then succeed better. First come, first serve, quality, and of course, what you're doing in your performance. Would you agree?
I would totally agree. I would say, there's an old phrase I love to quote. There are two words in show business, and art isn't one of them. It is a business. If you think of yourself as a one-person corporation that has three distinct prongs, the creative is only one prong.
Yeah.
Your business know-how and your industrious and enterprising spirit is another. And now that third prong of technical know-how, I have to record myself or video myself. I have to be a lighting designer, a tech designer. Is my background the same color as my shirt? Am I floating in space? You have to be a bit of a hyphenate. You can't
Yeah.
just be an actor. You're an actor, director, stage manager, lighting, sound, craft
Everything.
services, janitorial, accounting. You're kind of everything. If everything you do fits on a business card, your card is just not big enough. You have to. You're like a business
A
scroll, I think, is what
rollout.
people
Yeah.
need. Yeah.
As I said,
I-
rollout. And here's me. And it's interesting because, back in the 80s when I started, if you said like on your business card or something like actor, director, rather than be like, just pick one, man. Now,
Yes.
if you don't do nine things, but I
That's
use
right.
that phrase all the time where I go, people ask me all the time, they go, what's wrong with actors? And I go, well, they don't understand, a lot of creatives don't understand that the word show business has the word business in it.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is that if you're just sitting around waiting on the bar stool in West Hollywood, showing off your legs, which neither one of us could do, and waiting for someone, Coppola or Nolan, to discover you, then I got bad news. I hope you got a good TikTok account, because in this day and age, that discovery doesn't
Yeah.
exist unless you have something into it.
So Nolan didn't discover you for Oppenheimer sitting at a Starbucks sipping on a latte, or
No, I think it was sitting on the unemployment line.
uh, no, hard-earned work and well-deserved, sir. Very good. You're 100% right. I agree that we have to be multifaceted. I like to use that image of you being a one-person corporation. Now, any corporation that is profitable and growing, as any corporation should, surrounds itself with a board of directors. We can push
Yeah,
this metaphor.
a
So
team.
your board of directors is your team, your management, your
Hmm.
representation, your headshot guy or
Yeah,
gal, your coach, your person who is helping you do auditions, maybe your friend who's a great actor, who's the off-camera voice for your on-camera auditions. These are the people that are nudging your corporation forward.
right. Absolutely. And the thing is that you really the hardest part about our industry, and to coin a phrase that my that a friend of ours, Kevin E. West, has said, is that you don't need a degree. Acting is the thing that, like, today I'm a lawyer and tomorrow I'm gonna decide I'm gonna go work with Brad Pitt. I mean, no one's gonna stop you. I mean, realistically, I always love it when they go, we need your resume, we need your, your demo, and we need your headshot. And in the end of the day, they go, Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. We don't know why. And of course, putting out a good product, but that's again the beauty of what we've been doing for so long with before COVID. I'll just say BC, before COVID, is that we literally went in and we went, well, I'm here. Isn't that most of what you need? And the reality of that, the answer to that question is no. That is not what we need. What we need, and what I believe when people ask me, they go, what's the key to success in this business? I go, confidence. Don't overlook confidence, because when you walk in the room and you go, yeah, I'm ready, let's do it, and you go, ba 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 ba, and they go, that's our guy, that's our gal. A lot of why they're doing that is because you have been doing this long enough, or you're just so blind to anybody, making comments about you, which is a great way to be as an actor. Then you most likely you're going to make an effect. And I believe that what's happened now since COVID is that we are now in charge of the effect that we are, not just the read or the audition and showing up. Because let's look at the statistics. When we started, maybe 100 people would go after a role. Now, if it's not 4,500 people going after the same role, I'd be surprised. First come, first serve, make sure your shit's in gear, and keep going. So yeah.
I definitely agree. And that's in on camera and in voiceovers. We are reading people when I'm casting for a cartoon, we're reading people all over the country
Mhm.
because a lot of them have home studios that are up to
Yeah.
speed or have access to a studio. And so people don't have to be in LA. So our circle of invitations has gone way, way out.
Way.
And so, yeah, you have to have confidence and skills and the whole package. I thought I'd bring up something that we just want to piggyback on the original question about what has changed. Something that really merits discussing is who's being hired. In the old days, there was you've all heard this nasty word typecasting. Well, that still exists, but
Yeah.
I feel like the blinders have been taken off of producers and casting people. So the judge in that 1 hour procedural is not just some gray haired white dude anymore. We're seeing people of all body types, ethnicities, ages. And I think it's all been cracked open in on camera and voiceovers. When I'm casting or I'm auditioning for roles, the specs are now male, female, non binary, old, young, any ethnicity, accents welcome from any place in the world.
Yeah.
It's really just like we'll know when we hear it, or we
Yeah.
know when we'll see it in on camera. Who's to say the bouncer at the bar couldn't be a little person or a
Yeah. A 2-year-old baby.
or
Yeah.
and whatever. There's just an open mindedness, which I think is absolutely great. And you don't have to be, of model great looks to be an actor. The old thing when you and I were coming up is somebody gorgeous would walk by. So you must be an actor.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. You
well,
should be an
those are like
actor.
those are two different things.
Yeah.
So acting is a craft, and your look is your look, and any look can go with an acting craft and get work. Whether it's for on camera, same goes with your voice. There's a lid for every. There's a pot for every lid.
Yeah.
So if you are a good actor and you have the industry push and drive and confidence that Will's been talking about, then there is work to be had. You have to chug, chug, chug uphill to get it, but there's work to be had for sure.
You know, it's such a difficult subject to talk about, the word success, especially in this day and age. And the reason being is because, that's subjective as well. I remember when I was like starting out in 1982 or something, and I said, I'm going to be on Broadway. It's all I wanted to do. I dance, sing, act. I was like, I just want to be. It's all I thought about. Donald O'Connor, Gene Kelly, singing, whatever. I was doing 5 classes a week, maybe 8 sometimes. But my point is that I was really focused on trying to do that. Then I realized that you really didn't make much money unless you were on Broadway, and even if you did, the point is that the idea of my success when I started was, yes, I see this level here, and I want to be that A-lister or Broadway star, whatever the case may be. I'm not saying that's changed at all for me, because I will be an A-lister. I am, and I will be, and I am. But the point is that in this day and age, it's a little different, because those little incremental climbs nowadays You could have a YouTube channel, you could have a TikTok channel, you could be in a vertical. I think the idea of success has really changed in our industry because most people are just trying to figure out where they fit and what they can give to the process of, creating something where we didn't do before. We wouldn't, back in the day when we started, we weren't like going, I'm going to figure out how to create my own movie. I mean, we might have talked about it, but the difference is that it would be like, it's like, like script, pitch, blah, blah. It's 10 years later. You know what I mean?
I totally agree with you. There are so many ways to create revenue streams now. In the old, when you're an actor back in the day, you were the very, 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 very end of a long flow chart. There was
Yeah.
all development and pre-production and production. Oh, let's cast this thing. So you'd come in and try to earn the job with an audition, and then you either did or didn't get the
Yeah.
job. But now you can be so much more proactive and creative to generate your own vertical or generate, being a content creator of sorts. So depending on your level of industriousness and willing to take risks, you can actually do a lot, get things up on YouTube. Don't spend a lot of money and just throw some darts in the dark and see what hits. So I do think it's actually an inspiring time. I know it seems like we're sort of swimming in the middle of the ocean in the dark,
Yeah.
but the reality is, um, if you have a story to tell or a new angle on a thing, or you just want to be seen, you can go out with your iPhone and go shoot stuff and make stuff. People are everybody watching this right now has been brought up in this sort of TikTok generation, I would say. We've
Yeah.
all seen it. We've all seen these quote unquote influencers. I think we call them content creators now
Yeah.
because I don't know how
Either
much they
way.
influence me, but they're doing very, very well. And they sort of turn the whole paradigm of being in show business upside down. But I need to address the word success that you spoke of. Because success, your knee-jerk thought for most people is going to be how much
Yeah.
money do I make? So for
Oh, yeah.
old
Mm.
school guy like myself, I also have to put a lot of weight on creative success. So for me, I've done plays for, 11 cents, and they've brought me so much spiritual and inner joy, and they filled up the bank
Yes.
account of my soul, but
Yes.
not the one at Bank of America, strangely.
Yeah.
So for me, it's been, and I know for you too, it's been this constant balancing act, or in your
Well, we're
case, I would
gigging.
say a
We're
juggling act.
gigging.
You're gigging. So some feed your soul, some feed your wallet. And I feel like depending on who you are, that balance is for you. If you want to be a content creator and do unwrap videos, which take whatever skill set they
Mm.
need, then I'm never going to look down on that. Go make the
Yeah. Go
money,
do it.
get the
Yeah.
hits, get the
Find
numbers,
your
get the
niche.
likes, do it. You know, uh, I think it's great. So there are opportunities for both creative success and financial success, and sometimes both, or a balancing of both. So
Yeah. You don't
define
really have. Yeah. Go
define
ahead.
for yourself what success would be for you. I feel like everybody should literally write this stuff down. What do I want in the next 6 months? What do I want the next 2 years? What do I want the next Where do I see myself?
Yeah.
You know, I so when I look backwards now at the things I wrote down, I'm like, check, check. I've been in plays, been in movies, I've done Broadway. I'm quite creatively filled.
Fulfilled. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a couple things. Number one is that yeah, by the way, I saw the 12-cent play, and you should have easily gotten 15 cents. Anyway, uh
Thank you for
you
that.
you were no, you were quite amazed. Both my wife and I were like, wow, I didn't realize he was so wow, what a great costume. No, I mean, uh,
Thank you for that.
anyway, but no, all your points are extremely valid, but you also brought up something I think is really good for me to pitch into AI. And that is that one of the things I've done recently is I have taken, and I've tried to, I've been pushing you into this sort of thing too, is that defining what your goals are. I've used ChatGPT, and everybody has too. A lot of people have, and I've journaled all the different things I want to do. And the word want is bad, by the way, because when you're in want, I'm giving you a little metaphysical, sort of a coaching here. But when you say I want, it puts you into want, which means that even if you get it, are you still wanting to get it? The point is that if you say and you go, I am I am an actor. And it's a wonderful thing to say, and we both can say this like wholeheartedly from the tip of our toes to the top of our heads, even past, can say we are professional actors. And I just got a little something there. It might be the coffee, but the point I'm trying to make is that you can throw that into Chat GPT and say, look, I need you to help me build a 30-day plan. And I did this. I go, look, I need a lot of PR, and I want to be able to raise my, because the more that people know who you are, the more money you can demand. And they go, oh, you've done this project and that project. So I put together a plan. It gave it to me very succinct. I printed it out. It gave me a spreadsheet. And so I follow each one of these things. The only reason I'm saying that is because I believe that actors fall short of work. That four-letter word. They go, I want to do this, but they don't get out of bed. And I've had so many conversations, and I made this little saying to myself in the beginning of 2025. I said, I'm not going to call people back twice anymore. If they ask me a question, I'll answer them. It's then in their court to be able to do something. Because I get a lot of people, and I know you do too, that call you up and go, hey, you write, you shoot, you edit, you do this, you do that, you're a voiceover. Let's do something. And you're like, what are you doing? Well, I'm going to be in it with you. That's great. So my point is that in this day and age, what's happened, especially now with AI, is that we are no longer in a position as an actor to say, before COVID, yes, well, I don't know how to, and how do I edit? And I can show you 4 AI tools that all you have to do is shoot something. It doesn't even have to look good. And I can show you how to make this into shorts, longs, and create anything you want. You can be in $100 million movie. My point is that again, use those tools to help enhance your career and your goal. And then on top of that, get ahead of the curve because, hey, you're right. This is the best time in the world to be an actor and the worst time. But it's the best time because you can take this or whatever and shoot something and potentially get 20 million views and make a lot of money and then go, well, I don't have to work at Starbucks anymore. At least I have enough money. And if I keep this up and then people recognize me, I might be, that professional actor I want to be. It's all in your control.
Feel like the difference between actors coming up now versus say back when we started, you have got to be an actor slash producer. You have to be that what's going to separate that success line is going to be the people who are actors and are generative. They're generating stuff. They're
Yeah,
business minded. They're looking to create jobs for themselves and create strategic alliances with people. When you have something to offer, if someone does connect with you, you brought up a thing. People say we should do something together, and I'm like. I'm kind of already up and running. What are you bringing to the
yeah.
table? I know it sounds glib and harsh,
But it's the
but
truth.
if you have something to offer, hey, I've got the script idea, you've got a barn and a camera, like, if you're going to make a strategic alliance with someone, have something to bring to that table that
Absolutely.
dovetails with what they do. Now you can scaffold with each other.
Right. Well, the other part about this whole equation is that now as a professional actor, you have like you said, a product that you can then, I mean, look, if you're just waiting around for someone to cast you in something and then go on social media and go, look, I was in Lucifer, or I was in this show, and you're going, okay, awesome. But the momentum is what's missing in our acting world is that you have to constantly be working because we know work begots work. Also, I saw this great interview. By far, by the way, I'm making this announcement that my favorite show ever, I'm putting it in my ever category, is Resident Alien. Just I think it's hysterical. And the gentleman's the lead gentleman is Alan Tuttle, I think it is, and he's a very big voiceover guy. He did the in the Rogue One. He does the robot. He's done a shitload of Disney stuff. If you look him up, Alan Tittle, he plays the alien. Hysterical. But the cool part about it is that during this, because he's an alien that comes to America, Earth, and he's here to take over and destroy it. Well, he winds up becoming very human. But the reason why I'm mentioning this is that, you know, he really, when you look at his performance and what he's doing, it's just so great because he does this like VO, because he's used to doing that as the alien, and you hear him talk about the world and how uh-oh, my microphone moved. Sorry. My microphone is attached to the umbrella. So there it is. Anyway, anyway, the point is there's this great little commentary. I just think it's such a great show because it has so much to it. But in essence, it also reminded me sort of like doing your own type of thing. What's the difference anymore? You say to me, look, I got an idea about doing like the DNA dad thing that we're creating. I got this idea. Now, what's happening in our industry, here's where we're at. The big boys, the studios and the streamers and us. And here's the deal. It's gone like this because we know that the verticals are now a $2 billion industry a year, mostly out of China. It's going to go up to 200 billion. So what the big boys have done is they said, wait a second, you mean we don't have to produce these $1 billion movies like Oppenheimer or whatever, and we can just pay these people like Rick and Will to produce that thing and put it on our programming and make a lot of money and pay them little? I'm telling you that right now, the scales are like this. And if anything, you have more flexibility because you don't have a board and you don't have to worry about this stuff. If you are not waking up every day and trying to create something by yourself, you're missing the boat. That was a long explanation to tell you my favorite show and then also into what you should be doing, but I think you got what I'm saying.
I think that's important for everyone to just like hear everything we're saying and be inspired. I know it can be very, you read about this and the death of Hollywood and filming is moving to other countries. And we read these grim reports
Yeah,
and how AI this and that. But Will and I are here to say, I mean, there is still plenty of work and outlets for work and generative things that you can do to create work. I think it's a very inspiring time. And
yeah,
I'm still thrilled to be an actor and
yeah,
director and casting director. Um, I'm staying as busy as I ever have been. So
yeah,
I want the people who watch this to use this as a shot in the arm. Watch it daily. Watch Will's little, you know, morning cup of Joe,
whatever. Yeah,
metaphysicals, whatever he's doing,
yeah,
because these are it's a very inspirational time. If you
it
have the
is.
drive, skill plus drive is a
Yeah.
very combustible combination. So
Absolutely, yeah. And you know what, you said something earlier that I think is extremely important is that if I was to ask you this question, I should ask everybody in the future as well, is if there was one thing that you believe that acting gives you that keeps you going every day, money, fame, whatever, what would that one thing be? Because you answered that already, and I want to play off that, but I want to see if you know what I'm actually referring to.
for
What's
me,
the one thing?
it just feeds me. It feeds my soul. I
There
mean,
it is.
I'm a creative soul. I was born this way. Um, I remember when I went to acting school. Um, I went to the Eugene O'Neill National Theater
Oh,
Institute
wow.
as a pup. And I remember day one, they assembled the school the whole school was 25 people. And it's really small. And they said, if any of you can imagine a life without being in this industry, whether you're going to be an actor, director,
Get
if
out.
go to the front office, we will give you your money back and go to
Yeah.
dental school or become a welder, whatever. And we
Yeah.
all went no, because we knew the fire was in our belly back at that young age.
Yeah.
It's inescapable. We used to
Yeah.
say the phrase was you were bitten by the bug, the showbiz bug. Yeah, I was bitten hard.
Yeah.
So the thing that feeds me every day, and when I get in this booth and get to do what I love doing, um, I'm filled with joy, and
Yeah.
this is super important.
Yeah.
You brought up the magnitude of things, whether it's 100 or hundreds or thousands of people. You have to realize that in 365 days, if you make a little pie chart of that, how many of those days were actual gainful employment? And
Yeah.
how many of the other days were efforts to get that gainful employment?
Yes.
You have got to love every piece of that pie.
Yeah.
I love being in the booth and auditioning and doing
Yeah.
doing a
The
video
hustle.
audition. Is my hair good? Is this a
Yeah.
good shirt? Do I look like I work at Trader Joe's? Great. So Another way to say this is love the journey, not just the destination.
Yeah,
We
the
all want to
hustle.
get there. We got to
Yeah,
love the hustle. If you
yeah,
are just, looking for, we all want shortcuts, of course, but shake hands with the hustle.
yeah.
That is the meat and potatoes of your day to day, and the gravy of the days you're in a booth or in front of a camera getting paid.
Yeah, but you said, but again, I just want to reiterate the fact that you said something that I think if, I feel like we're in you didn't say Lee Strasberg, you said Eugene O'Neill. If we're sitting right now and, there's 55 other actors and we're like, in the Eugene O'Neill thing and they ask that question, is anybody in here thinking that you're just going to get an easy grade or, your parents paid for it and you really don't want to do this, you'd rather be an auto mechanic, then you probably should get out. I tell people all the time. My 14-year-old girl came up to me once and said, "Dad, I'm actually thinking about being an actor. What's your advice?" I went, "Don't." But and I always tell people, I go, "This is the worst career you could possibly want. But if you have to do it, then you just have to do it." I mean, I think about the days that we woke up and we would go okay, early in our career and go, okay, I'm going to go to dance class. I'm going to go and do a show. Nothing better to me than going 2 hours to a show early and sitting there, seeing the ghost light on, coming into the dressing room and just going, I'm not even organized. But when I was in the theater, I was like, okay, there's my blush. There's my camera. I'm just going to slowly listen to some music and go, I am where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
And that right there is exactly what you said. And what, quite honestly, is what keeps us going. And it's difficult because you and I talk all the time about what's happening and how potentially our demographic, they sometimes they consider it to be like, yeah, you're done. But we're not. And we talk, and it's kind of like listening to writers talk because we're always like, so that is such an important thing to know, that if you are not doing this and find the joy in the hustle, because sometimes I like the rehearsal better than the show. If you can't
So,
find that, I don't know if you're really in the right place.
yeah, I just, when you talked about your daughter and saying, don't, or it's a terrible thing. I mean, it hit me hard when you said that, because it's been so part of the fabric of my being that I don't think of it as a dumb business. We work hard, and
Dumb
you know
business.
well,
It's
in other
stupid.
words, this gig economy that we're in, there's a bit of a cause and effect. I work this hard, I make this much money, I make this much per hour, this much per week, and that's how people think. I've never been in that universe. I never had like a job that I punched a clock at,
Yeah,
every
me
day.
either. Well, I
So
did, but I got rid of those 50 when they told me I couldn't go to rehearsal the next day.
there you go. So I think that I would never want to give anybody advice that this is a dumb business to be in. If you have that drive and that creative soul, do it.
Yeah.
It's a gig economy. Support that acting
Hmm.
habit, so to speak, with other stuff, flexible other generative money, whether it's working nights, weekends, or free
Whatever.
dog walking. What it be creative in your in that part of your world
In your
too.
world,
We
yeah.
all have bills to pay. None of
Hmm.
so few of us are just basically trust fund babies doing this for fun. But
Yeah.
if you are here, whether it's wherever you live, New York,
Yeah.
LA, Austin, Texas, Pittsburgh, it doesn't matter. If you're doing this, yeah, it's a balancing act of I have bills to pay, but I have a soul to feed. And constantly work on calibrating that balance. You got to work a little harder this month because the bills got up. Great. You may have to
Right.
turn a few auditions down. When you have
Right.
a good month, then do some more auditions or get new headshots or
Right.
whatever. So it's not a dumb thing. You just have to. You may have to work harder than your friends who get to punch a clock and have their weekends off every
Well,
weekend.
you
I wouldn't.
do.
I wouldn't know what that means.
I wouldn't either. And you do. And and again, there's a lot of sacrifices. The other thing I used to tell people all the time is they'd go, at the time I wasn't married. They go, "Oh, you're like in your 40s, you're not married." I go, "No, I'm not married." And they go, "Why?" And I go, "Do you have kids?" I go, "No." And now I have my wife of 14, 15 years. I've known her since 2001. Best friend of my whole entire life, and my kids. But I made the decision that my career was important Very important. And I also didn't want to shortchange everybody else in my arena, in my life, and go, oh yeah, you're just gonna have to suffer with me. I'm gonna go play a gig, guitar at night and make $5 and come home and be like the Kenny Rogers song, because she believed in me. I never know just what. But the point is that, it is a total commitment that when you do it, if you, and especially nowadays, it's so much, I hate to say it, it's a little easier to get that wonderful feeling and then also be able to do something with it. Thing is that the problem I think most actors and creative have is discipline, which is weird because our industry asks us and demands to us that we have discipline in our auditions, in our performance, when we get on set, know your lines, don't be drunk, blah, blah, blah. This is all discipline. So it's weird that actors can't go, I have this life where I have to make money. I'm going to take classes. I have to have a project and I'm going to produce it and I'm going to put it on YouTube and I'm going to make money and I'm going to learn and I'm going to do this. It's weird, but it's actually good for us because we know what we can do and we will continue to move forward. Whereas most people fall off in the acting world because they don't want to work. I hate to say it, but they don't.
Across that, I've directed projects. I direct a lot of animation, and
Yes,
I have actors coming in for sessions. These are people who have a very coveted slot. A lot of people want to be in that booth making that money
I
and
sure
doing that
do.
stuff, and they haven't read the script. And I
Yeah,
kind of throw the softball out there. I think your mic is waffling again.
it
Was that a
is.
shadow? I can see a shadow behind you. Um,
I'm
so you
trying
just said
hard to
something. You
keep it
just said
in.
I was going to do a bit when you said, know your lines. Don't show up drunk. I mean, let me write this down. I mean, these things that are so obvious to us. You'd be surprised some jaded, seasoned pros that should come in and still want to impress the director and impress the. They're coming, and I say very gently, a softball lob. Okay, great. Thanks for coming in. You're playing the role of Bobo, of course, as you have the whole season. Did you?
Bobo.
Yep. Did they get you the script in advance? Yeah. Did you read it? Didn't have a chance to. Okay, so in this scene, and I'm like the back of my mind, this actor couldn't read a 16-page script to come and make a union wage. So those things are noted. Those things are noted. Something I did got to circle back about this life of an actor and something about the life and the work. It just occurred to me like a sociological experiment. If you plucked someone from show business, an actor or anybody who'd be watching this particular podcast, and pluck someone in normal
Tails.
job America
Yeah,
and say, and just ask them simple question, do you love what you do? I think people who have jobs go, well, I like the stability and I like a lot of the people I work with and have good days and bad days. But I, I think there'd be a glow for most of the actors go, well, I mean, I'm hustling. I mean, it's not easy, but I feel like it'd be a very worthy experiment because people love
I agree.
being creative. I would say this bleeds into people who are artists of any kind, whether you're a dancer or a painter,
Yeah,
sculptor. If you are a creative, generative soul, um, that's in you, and you find immense joy in it. The person sitting at the potter's wheel isn't just happy when they sell that final
yeah,
kilned bit, but getting their hands all gooey and wet. I mean, that
yeah.
there's joy in all that. So,
Walking into their studio and going, or
yeah,
like us, well, a pottery person goes, oh, I'm in my studio, the smell. Walking into a
yeah,
theater, walking on set, walking into a voiceover studio, all
yeah.
these, and you go, yeah. I want to tell you that I think what you've said is monumental, and here's why. The reason why is because you have to get to the level of where you go. Like, I remember when I got my SAG card, 85. And I remember because I'd been working like 5, 10 years doing like background light, a lot of lighting, standing in Central California and San Francisco. And I finally did a commercial. It was a Nissan commercial, and I was upgraded. And I got the big check. I made like $25,000. And I was like, dirt poor clowning and making balloons and doing magic at the time at a fair and the fair circuit. But when I got that, I went, I'm a professional actor. And you don't need that now. Not that I'm turning down the union, but I'm saying that if you're in that room with the plumber, a lawyer, and an actor, and you ask that question, and if that person is an actor, glows and goes, damn straight, I'm an actor, okay? I'm excited. I love what I do. It's probably because they've been through a certain amount and have made that actual commitment, which is not just going like, I want a career and be a plumber. Great, go fix some pipes and do that. I'm not negating what they have to do. But when you go and you decide you're going to be an actor professionally in your life, you are not talking about the same life as every single other person in the world, are you?
Job is different, every day is different. And you talked before about going to that theater, your shrine, your
Oh my
temple,
God.
your happy
Yeah.
place. You know,
My
um,
happy place.
if you if your employment is an office, you go to work, but where you are going is literally to a play. Think
Yeah.
about the very word.
Yeah.
We work in a play. Our
Yeah.
work is play. I mean,
Yeah.
I love that
That's
thought.
great.
Is some people
Yeah.
work and we just get to play.
Right. Well, and you know, I get that actors that are starting out are like, well, it'd be so exciting to be able to be on set with Brad Pitt or Rick Zieff or Will Roberts, whatever. But the problem with that is that that's just my opinion on what I'm about to say, is it's kind of like working for central casting and you're like doing a bunch of background work. You're there because they have good food and because you might get a chance to stand next to Brad Pitt. Would you agree? Yeah. So I'm saying that when you get past that and you're not, I mean, do you honestly, and this is not a bad thing, this is a good thing, but do you ever go, oh gosh, I wish I could work with this person because I would love to get a picture with them?
You're asking me?
Do you ever say that about someone? I'd like to work with someone, whoever that actor is, because I'd like to get a picture with them. And
I tend to think I like, no, I would say I want to work with the person because I love their work. I respect them. And to breathe the same air as Meryl Streep would fill me with a lot of
bingo.
soul fuel.
Yeah.
But it's not about a photo op for me, no.
No, and that's why, and I hate to use that, and soon I'll have another big film to talk about instead of Oppenheimer. But the point is that when I walked in the room and I'm looking at Matt Damon, Cillian Murphy, and Nolan, and we're all there for like 12 hours, people are like, "You left and you didn't get a picture with Nolan and didn't get a picture with Matt Damon? What's wrong with you?" I go, "Well, they didn't get one with me either." I mean, but I don't mean that to be funny. I mean that
No,
to be
it's
that
true.
we're there
Yeah.
to do, it's not even work. It's not that four-letter work. Play is four-letter and so is work. Yes, it's true. I had to respond. Sorry, I don't have a lot of education. Anyway, but you answered it correctly. I'm just testing you. And that is that we love what we do, and therefore when we go to work, it's not really that we're going to play. And it is better for you if you have all your play items in order, your script, your whatever. By the way, side tip, I hate to say this, if you're going to be a lazy actor and don't come to the set with your script at least read, put it in Chat GPT and ask it for a summary.
No, no, no.
No,
Read your
I
script.
no,
Read your
yeah, no,
script.
you should read your script. I'm just saying that if you get it the night before and you're on and you're a guest star and you're like, I don't know what happened in 6 seasons. I was auditioning for a series recently and I'm like, oh, it was the one with the priest. And I thought it was, I'm sorry, the movie. And I looked at this and I did the audition and I'm over here going, and praise the Lord, and you're going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. Praise the Lord. And then I wound up getting them to call me back and they went, this time try for Manson. And I'm like, Charles Manson? They go, yeah. I go, well, obviously I didn't read the script because it was not what I was doing in that audition. Somehow they saw something in me and went, can you try this just a little darker? And I go, okay. And I won't even tell you what I actually said because there's a political statement in there about being a cult leader.
Okie.
Anyway,
Congrats on that, by the way. I did actually see your audition. You sent it to me. It is bewilderingly scary.
oh,
So
I
it's
appreciate that.
it was
Now they're
great.
just trying to figure out if they have enough money for me.
Yeah, good.
And isn't that, but that's a good place to be. Rick Zieff, the only last thing I want to ask you is, obviously I always ask you for your pearls of wisdom. That's why I call you the voice of reason. Folks, you just have to know that there's so much love for this man on the other side of that camera, that just because there's not to do this industry and take on the career of being a professional actor and an entertainer is something in itself. But when you are persistent and you've made a mark in this industry and you have a chance to hang out with those people, like-minded people, I'm going to recommend that you find your Rick Zieff to hang out with. Not Rick, even though you did say you're a casting director, so expect a lot of people sending you messages on direct message. But I mean this sincerely, is that try to find people that think like you, because you don't, it's kind of like, I use this analogy all the time. Like when I was dancing a lot, uh, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, caddy, ballet, tap, whatever. I noticed at a certain point that I was in the class and I was like, doing my fifth and whatever, and I was doing like 10 turns or whatever the case may be. And I
I
looked
think you were
around the
doing a
room.
fifth. You were doing a fifth, all right.
I was doing, yeah, well, I was doing other,
Oh,
it
oh,
was
you
the
can
80s.
edit that out.
Hey, I am not apologizing for how I got to where I was at. I did it all legally.
Okay.
Anyway, but what I do want to say is that at one point I looked around the studio that I was in and I'm like, leg warmers, got my stuff. I mean, I look like a Harvey Edwards ad. If you know who that is, he's a guy back in the 80s that you see the picture of the person flexing their foot and they're duct taped and they were doing that. Was like, I looked at that every day going, it's gonna be me, that's gonna be me. But my point in saying that is I looked around the room of 20 other people in the dance class and I went, what's wrong here? And I realized something important that I take to this day, and that's this. I was in a room finally of people that were not as good as me. And the problem with that is that if you consistently keep and this is like hanging out with you, because you are a level up on many things, and we go back and forth, we feed each other's, you know, uh, future of how we can make ourselves better. And I sat in this room going, I have to go to San Francisco now to go to those classes, or I need to go to LA and do Debbie Reynolds' studio and get in there and go, there's 40 people and I'm the worst one in it. Why? Because if you are not constantly trying to be like the person that you believe is the almighty of this industry, then you are just sitting back. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. If you just want to sit and feel good and pat yourself on the back, play tennis with someone not as good as you are. If you want to be a better tennis player, play with someone that whoops your behind,
Yeah.
and that'll make you the better tennis player. Same thing. I think it's Mamet who said, "Don't spend money for 4 years of acting school. Uh, get all your friends, rent a theater in New Hampshire, and do play after play after play with a bunch of actors who are better than you are. That's your education." I think
No,
it's
you
Mamet.
just,
Look it
and
up.
I'm sorry, but you just gave the thing that I have been saying my whole career, because people keep going, where'd you, like, UCLA? Did you go to New York Film School? No, I dropped out of school. And they're like, are you kidding? I go, but what I learned very quickly, because I didn't have this, is that I needed to be continuously doing stuff. So I did 30 something years of theater. But what I did was I learned to cultivate my critical mind and look at myself for the most part, and go, well, okay, they laughed. That's good. You got that trick. You got that timing. You got this. You got that move. You did this. And then you learn the basics, like don't upstage yourself and so on and so on. And the point is that you have to, if you don't have parents that have you're not a silver spoon kid, I'm more of a broken spork kid, then you have to learn how to be able to be up there with the people who graduated from Harvard or whatever the case may be. And that is purely that you have to cultivate your talent and make yourselves better.
Absolutely. Just stay inspired, work hard, and believe in yourself. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't want to make it sound simple, but the
And it's
currency,
not.
no, it's not.
No, it's
But,
not.
but, and we all have those bad days. I had a bad audition, or I just don't feel up to it. You're allowed your cheat days
Yeah.
in everything in life,
Yeah.
but you do have to dust yourself off and get back on the horse. You just
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
and so I just wish to everybody out there who's watching this and listening to this, find ways to get inspired and stay inspired.
Yeah, absolutely. Rick Zieff, voice of reason, and I will try to convince him to come on all the time. But you can check us out, of course, coming soon. You'll be able to check us out on myauditionai.com. You don't go there now, you won't find anything, but or maybe you will, depending on when you watch this. But it's a new platform that I put together, and I think you're going to be pretty happy with it, whether you're an actor, a writer, or a director. There's a bit of tools that I put together that I think are going to help you and blow your mind when it comes to putting out something that is your self-tape or your product. Whether if you're a director, you can put your scenes in there, work them out, have it work with you, and give you a great outcome. Last thing I want to say is, of course, if you want to get a hold of Rick, I know he doesn't do a lot of social media, mainly because the man, literally, I'll call him up at 3 in the morning, which what kind of friend are you if you don't call your friends at 3 in the morning? And he is just knocking out after knocking out audition, yeah, in his room. So all I want to say is that, yeah, I don't know if you're going to find him on social media anywhere. You don't really have anything, do you, that you use?
Maybe you'll help me up my game
Yeah,
at Rick Zieff Voiceovers on Instagram.
on Instagram.
They can find me maybe through the platform you're creating.
They
We could
can.
have a little
There goes
bit
my
of a
mic.
your mic is there. But I wish you all well. If there's any guidance anybody does want or specific to their life and their work, I'm happy to connect with you.
Good. And one thing I will bring to folks' attention, that when you do go to the website that will be up here soon, if not already up, you're going to notice something there that you can go through a lot of the AI stuff that I put together to help you in your audition and your scene study. But there's also a button next to it that says hire a coach. You will be seeing Rick's mug in there and his bio and his accomplishments, and the button that says, get a private coaching with Rick Zieff. Because between between voiceover stuff and acting on camera or in theater, Rick just has a lot that he does. He travels around the world doing that. And then you're going to see also that we're working on a little two-person thing that we're going to travel around and do. But that's where you can also find him. Thank you for coming on the show, Rick. I really appreciate it.
100%. Thank you. If you are still watching and still listening, that means you are driven, you have inspiration. Those who made it this long in the interview, I wish you well. May the wind be at your back, may the mic be at your front or camera, and I'll see you on set.
You will. All right. Hey, folks, thanks for watching the show, Lights, Camera, AI. Pretty easy to say. I'm Will Roberts. If you have any questions, please check us out on the website. You can see below. Last thing I will leave you with is that we talked a lot about today about really the industry and being an actor or a creative and what it takes to do that. I can't emphasize the fact stronger than to say, come up with a plan. I am the worst person. Ask my wife for organization. I really am. But now with some of the tools out there, which you'll see in our new thing, you should be able to chart some of the stuff that you want to do, and it will even remind you, but it won't do the work. You got to get out there and you got to love the work. If you don't love the work, save yourself the time, plus save us the other 2,500 auditioning. If you're really not serious and you're not going to get your self tapes in, then leave the industry so we can have less odds. Last thing I'll say is first come, first serve. The early bird gets the worm. Get your self tapes in immediately, because I guess after about 50, they probably go, oh God, we're on 4,000. Forget it. Let's just pick out of the 50. Do what you can, be the best you can. And remember, that little critical voice in your head is there to destroy you. Tell it to shut up. We'll see you next week. Hold on. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I went really long.